Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the LightSKIN NACA Road front headlight. Aerodynamics have become an increasingly important aspect of cycling. Not only are there aerodynamically shaped bikes on the market, but there are also accessories that claim to also reduce drag. In this review, we'll be looking at one of those latest aerodynamic products from LightSKIN, the new NACA Road front headlight. It's one of the first headlights that actually have an aerodynamic profile designed to reduce drag and optimize the beam. You can see packaging wise, it's really nice. You have a sleek gold on black print on the top, graphics on the side, and then this nice cardboard box that looks a lot like a cell phone box. So we'll go ahead and take it out of the box and go over the specs. So retail price on this is $270, so definitely a more expensive light, but it has an aerodynamic headlight shape. So it's actually designed off the NACA airfoil and has a claimed 0.267 aerodynamic drag. This is also StVZO approved with a projector lens out in front. So you get a nice crisp beam cutoff with no glare. It has 520 lumens of output with a top mounted GoPro mount. So it's really designed to go underneath your out front mount. It also has up to 7.3 hours of runtime, depending on which mode you pick. In terms of what comes with it, obviously you get the headlight with this little protective cover on the lens, which we'll take off. This nice rubber, this nice foam cutout that holds it securely. The instruction manual that gives you the specs and how to actually position it to meet the restrictions for the StVZO. Inside the accessory box, there's also a couple extra items. You have this rubber anti-glare cover, so if you don't have a large GPS computer, which would normally block the front lens, you can actually slide this on top, and you can see this will block that front lens and will prevent it from having any glare when you're riding above it. You have a USB-C charging cable, and that's about it. Now let's take a look at the weight of the NACA Road. It actually has a metal construction, so it feels pretty premium and a little bit heavy. So it comes in at 164 grams. True to its namesake, the NACA Road is actually designed to mimic a NACA airfoil profile. So you can see a nice front curved edge that tapers out on the rear. So it doesn't match exactly. It's a little bit smaller, but if you were to imagine this a little bit bigger, this would extend out and then go down to a nice narrow tip. So it looks really sleek, especially compared to traditional headlights, which just have a big flat front. It's easy to see why this would have some aerodynamic benefits. It also has an all-metal construction with the GoPro mount actually built right into it. So it feels really sleek and high quality. The front lens is probably the coolest thing about this light. And you can see that LED on the front. It actually is behind this curved lens. So this is really designed to focus the light forward. And with this projector lens, you can see when you have it on, it has a very sharp beam cutoff. So that really eliminates any glare for oncoming traffic. And you can see even if you look at this straight, you don't really see any of the glare except for certain angles when it's vertical. It's a really nice design and something you don't typically see again with a lot of lower end bike lights. This also has the German rating, so you can use this on German roads where it's a lot more strict than the United States where anything really goes. You also have the side cutout, so that improves the side visibility. So that's nice to have. So even at high angles, they can still see some of the front light. Very minimal branding. You just have NACA Road here, projector lens printed here. The indicator is actually here with 3 LEDs. At first, this almost looks like the 3 LEDs might be the battery status, but the battery status is actually the color. So you can see it's kind of green here and goes a darker green here. So the different colors indicate how much battery you have, and they will change depending on which mode you are and how many hours you have left of runtime. The power button is also right on the side, very slim and almost easy to miss if you don't see it, but it has a nice raised rubber grip on there, so it's easy to feel with gloves or just with your hand. It's really designed to be mounted upside down too, so you don't have the button hidden underneath. It's actually right on the side, easily accessible. You can actually see these LEDs. When you're riding, you don't have to go peek underneath, as you typically do when you mount a bike light upside down. On the back, you have this very interesting rubber cover. So this is where the USB Type-C port is. And the rubber cover actually extends the whole width, which is a little bit strange, and it pivots around. So you can see it has 2 configurations. You can open it up to reveal the USB-C charging port to charge the light, or you can actually run this with a power bank to have pass-through charging. So in this configuration, you can leave it open, and then for weather protection, you want to flip it around, and you can see there's a little round notch here, and that holds it securely. So nice weather protection here, and you can see a little lip here also trip the airflow behind it. Output modes, you have the maximum 520 mode, which is good for an hour and a half, a 400 lumen sports mode, which is 2.5 hours, touring mode, which is 290 lumens and 4 hours, and then finally city mode, which is the lowest output of 185 but over 7-hour runtime. So they're pretty easy to distinguish on the road. You can see here cycling through them. Obviously city should be used mostly in the city where you have a lot of other lights on the road as it's pretty dim. Typically we found the medium or higher level modes to be more useful, especially on these really dark roads. But obviously the runtime does drop down, especially in the max mode. But overall, really nice beam. The projector lens is nicely designed so you can see really sharp. And that means there's no glare for anybody around you and you don't have any wasted light. So even though the maximum output of mode of this light is only 520 lumen, it is still quite bright. So you don't have any wasted lumens. So it's a nice feature and you can see it really looks great on the road. The downside of that sharp beam is obviously when you're cornering, you're kind of cornering in the dark as the light doesn't self-level, it follows the bike itself. The aerodynamic profile of the light might save you a couple watts, but to be honest, you don't really feel it. What we really like about it though is that mount design. So it's designed to go underneath your out front mount, so you can see really clean installation. And the glare is really blocked by a computer, especially if you have a larger one. So really easy to use, and the light indicators on the side. So it's a nice design, and it's great to see the lights actually designed for out front mount use. Now let's compare the NACA Road with other lights on the market. There's generally two categories of bike lights. You have your standard reflectors. So you can see nice cylindrical frame. This is the Phoenix BC26R. So a lot cheaper to build, more affordable, brighter output, 1600 lumens versus the 520. And again, much more budget priced. What's cool about the Phoenix is obviously you have a removable battery here, which is something you don't see with most lights on the market. Other lights like the NACA Road blinder have a more compact form factor, and then dual LED design. But again, much more basic beam optics, so you don't really focus the light, and you have a lot of glare from most angles. In between that and your beam cutoff, you have these soft beam cutoff lights, and these have these little deflectors on here. And this ends up with a dual beam pattern, so instead of just having a round, you have this second, more diffuse one underneath it, and it helps diffuse some of that light. It's obviously not nearly as good as a real beam cutoff. You can see the sharpness is just not there, but it is a nice option. The problem with this kind of directional beam is if you flip this upside down, well, now you have a glare creating light, so you don't want to flip it. The Rigel for Moon Sport is actually a cool option where it actually has this removable soft beam deflector, so you can actually take this off. So if you want to flip this upside down, you can flip the lens around, and it always ensures you're actually deflecting instead of creating more glare. So that's a nice option. It's something I actually run. So I run this upside down with the lens flipped. But again, it still has a lot of glare. A better comparison here is the outbound lighting Detour. So you can see both have projector lenses. This one's a little more simple versus the one on the NACA Road. Obviously a lot less aerodynamic. It's quite a bit bigger. Big flat face. A lot of nice features with the rubber coating. And a lot more affordable. It's almost half the price of the NACA Road. But you can see when it's on, you do have a beam cutoff. It's not quite as crisp as the NACA Road, but still does the job. And it's a brighter light with its own mount. So it's a little bit more flexible. You don't have to have an out front mount. You can just throw it on your bike. And a nice option if you don't care about the aerodynamics. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the NACA Road. What we like about it is that you have a projector lens. It's really well designed, focuses the light on the ground instead of creating glare. It's also specifically designed to work with out front mounts and mounted upside down, so it's underneath your computer. So nice clean installation with all the controls being really easy to access and the battery status right on top. You also have that crisp and sharp beam cutoff that really looks great on the road. Some of the cons for the light is the fact that it is very expensive. Obviously you're paying a lot for the higher quality construction and the aerodynamic profile. You also have limited runtime at the higher output mode, so you do need to be aware of the battery status and ride in the appropriate mode. It also lacks a daytime flash mode. It only has constant mode, so it would have been nice to have some kind of flash option for daytime riding. Taking everything into account would give the light an 8.7 out of 10. It's a really sleek and aerodynamic headlight, even though the aerodynamic part doesn't matter that much. It looks great on the bike, and it has that innovative mounting design. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.